Good morning, class. Everyone get ready. So we've been looking at the American Civil War for quite some time now, so why don't we take a look at some of the causes of the Civil War? But instead of taking notes, we're going to use something called leveled questions. And these questions help us start simple and then build up to a deeper thinking. This is helpful because everyone's going to participate even if the content feels a little challenging at first. For today, we'll move through three different levels. Our first level is recalling information, level 2 is explaining, and level 3 is analyzing. So later on in class, I'm going to split the class into three groups, and the first group is going to have Jared, Ian, and Taylor. The second group is going to have Gavin, Derek, and Corey, and the third group is going to have Daniel, Michael, and Josh. So before we get started, I want to start with an example of these leveled questions. So let's start with level 1. So here's my question to you. What was one major issue that caused tensions between the North and the South? Okay, I heard someone say slavery. That's good. So what I just did there was a level 1 question, and those are just basically remembering facts. So this helps us build a foundation before we move even deeper. So now let's move on to level 2. So this is where we're going to explain our ideas. So I have another question. Why did slavery cause conflict between the North and the South? Right, I heard someone say the North and the South had different economies. So yes, the North was more industrial and the South depended on slavery for agriculture. That is exactly right. Let's do another question. So how did states' rights play a role in the conflict? Great point. I heard someone say that the southern states wanted more control over their own laws. That connects directly to why tensions increase. So you can see level 2 questions help us understand why things happen. Now let's move on to level 3. This is the hardest of the levels, and this is where we're going to use some strategy and more higher level thinking. So my question here is, do you think the Civil War could have been avoided? Why or why not? Interesting. I heard someone say it might have been avoided with a compromise. Let me ask, if leaders had found better compromises, maybe war wasn't necessary. Does anyone have a different idea? Okay, I also heard someone say it probably couldn't be avoided because the differences were too big. That's a very strong argument too. So this level is about analyzing and forming opinions using evidence. So today, we're going to be using these little questions to go from recalling facts to understanding and explaining our reasoning, and the third being a deeper thinking. The strategy that we're using today helps everyone participate and build confidence step by step. So now we're going to get into our small groups, and I have a worksheet for you guys to fill out. The worksheet. So here's the worksheet you guys are going to be doing. So you can see that level 1 is our recalling questions. So I just want you guys to answer in these incomplete sentences. What is one major cause of the Civil War? What was slavery's role in the conflict? And name one region involved in the conflict. Level 2 is where we want to explain our reasonings and understand why. So why did slavery cause conflict between the North and the South? How did economic differences lead to tension? And why was the United States becoming more divided? And here's level 3, apply/analyze. So this is where you use your critical thinking skills that we just talked about. So how might life have been different if the Civil War never happened? What modern issue could be compared to this kind of disagreement? And what lesson can we learn from how divided the country became? And then I'm going to give you a second handout, and these are just the causes of the Civil War. So I want you guys to at least fill in 2 of the examples. I left the third one blank if you want to get a little more technical. But basically, the cause slavery, what was the effect? The cause economic differences between the North and the South, what was that effect? And here's the third handout for if you can't get started. And these are just starters to help you answer these questions. So one cause of the Civil War was, next would be this caused conflict because the North believed, the South believed, and this is important because. So they should hopefully help you get some kind of understanding of where you need to start. And I want you guys to work in groups, and we will be answering these questions later on in class. Now let's go and see what happens in 20 minutes I give you guys. All right. Seems like you guys are done. So, first question, who wants to answer? Okay, great. What was one of the main causes of the Civil War? And that was slavery. What was slavery's role in the conflict? It was the main issue that divided the country, and the South wanted to keep it, and the North mostly wanted to end it. That's a great answer. What's one region involved in the conflict? Okay, great. The North was more industrial, had factories, and supported ending slavery. Good article, 2 questions. Why did slavery cause conflict between the North and the South? Great. Slavery caused conflict because the North believed it was wrong while the South depended on it for the economy and wanted it to continue. That is a great answer. How did economic differences lead to tension? Great answer. The North had factories and industry while the South relied on farming and slave labor, which obviously caused disagreements. And why was the United States becoming more divided? Another great answer. The United States was becoming more divided because people strongly disagreed on slavery, states' rights, and economic systems. Now let's go to level 3. How might life have been different if the Civil War never happened? Great answer. Life might have been different because slavery could have lasted longer, and the country would have stayed divided longer. What modern issue can be compared to this kind of disagreement? Very good answer. A modern issue could be compared as political division, where people are always disagreeing on laws and rights. And what lesson can we learn from how divided the country became? Excellent answer. We can learn that the extreme division and lack of compromise can lead to serious conflict. Let's go to our cause and effects now. So let's do our first one, slavery. Okay, yeah, increased tension between North and South, eventually leading to war. Great. Here's our second cause, economic differences, North versus South. Disagreements over policies and reliance on different systems caused conflict. And does anybody have anything for the fill-in? Okay, great. So they said their cause was states' rights, and their effect was Southern states wanted more power and eventually seceded from the Union. I hope you guys enjoyed today's lesson, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.